Welcome back to Jacob's Books Corner, where I am Jacob from Jacob, and we are in a book corner. I cannot speak today. I don't know why. But that being said, we are doing my January wrap-up. January is officially over as of filming this. It's 12:54 in the morning. And so it's time for February, which means we are moving on and forward. Thank God. This month has been a whirlwind. If you're in the US, I am going to try to update some of my links down below. Links are going to be going towards immigrant families that are going through some really shitty things right now. I'll put some links if you are not familiar with what's going on in the US. From what I understand, that a lot of people know what's going on here. You should. If not, I'll put some stuff down below. Then also, I'm going to put some stuff down below for the Gaza situation and Palestine situation, because I think that's really important to discuss and talk about. Also, put some links down below for the fire that was going on in California, because that was really big and really huge and really hard for a lot of people as well. There's a lot of things going on in the world today that I'm not really super happy about, and I have a hard time thinking, and it's all over my Twitter timeline, it's all over everything, all social media platforms I'm on, and it's rough. But that being said, I decided, new year, new gimmick, new fun little thing. What's fun? Tiny things. I tried doing this last year and it did not work. It masterfully failed. Then I found someone randomly doing it on YouTube earlier this month, and I was like, oh my god, you know what? That sounds super fun. And so I've officially made little books of all the books, all 19 books I read this month, and we're gonna talk about them in the little form. In the little form. This is how I'm holding them up. If you like an idiot and it's gonna be really fun to take the photo, obviously I don't really know what photo I'm gonna use, but I'm gonna take one with all 19, try to stack them up in my hand. I don't know how. How does one do that? I don't know. I have visual, and maybe it's the wrong hand. Maybe I should be doing this hand instead. Oh. I don't know what's going on with me today. But that being said, let's go ahead and start. If the videos are out, I'll link them down below so you can check out more full-length views. If the videos are coming out, I will let you know. If it's just like a random vlog, I'll let you know. But also if it's like I can't tell you about it because of XYZ, I'll also let you know. Here, you get the exclusive scoop for some February videos, because some of the stuff is for February. One of the videos might get pushed off till March, depending on if the goal was reached. That being said, let's go ahead and get started. I also, unshockingly, did start my bullet journal for this year and have been using it quite nicely. The biggest reading days, I didn't really have great reading days this month, but were the 27th, the 13th, and the 3rd. Like I said, I read a total of 19 books over a month. A lot of them were of the same series, which did, I think, hold me back, because now that I've opened up the floodgates, I'm reading so much, reading so many good things as well. The series was good too. We'll talk about it. That being said, let's go ahead and start with my first book of the year, Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Junlin Tan. Daughter of the Moon Goddess. She's so tiny. About a girl, she grows up on the moon. Her mother drinks an immortality potion when she gets sick when she is pregnant to save her daughter. And her father, who has who she stole it from, or took it from, understood it, but was cast out, and she, for punishment, was the guarder of the moon in this world. The daughter was never supposed to be born, daughter was never told to be born, or anything like that, and so when she starts to show magical gifts, she is sent away. Time passes, and she's able to join the, King's Guard, or the Princess Guard, and the story just takes off from there. I have a whole vlog talking about this and all my thoughts and opinions. I'm doing a fun thing this year for my first and final book. They're part of the same series. We are reading the duology for the Daughter of the Moon Goddess. In my opinion, I will tell you the rating, it doesn't make a difference to me. I gave it a 4.25 for this one. That's the first one. The next one I read was The Land I Lost by Cassandra Clare and Sarah Bree Becken. You cannot see the cover of this whatsoever, but it is a 5-star. I can't tell you a single thing about it. It is a novella for Shadowhunters, set deep into the Shadowhunter world, dealing with something very much, oh my god, it spoke to my soul. I'm so happy about it, but I can't tell you anything. That's just for spoiler reasons. It's not in a video, it's not coming forward. It's just I wanted to read it so I can continue onwards. I was getting closer and closer to that set of characters that's on the poster behind me, and I just wanted to get to those characters. Then I read Through Blood and Through Fire. This one follows some pretty legendary characters in the Shadowhunter universe. Once again, it was another 5. However, I cannot tell you a single thing. I'm going to hold this up. I'm going to tell you what it is, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. And if you know, you know. If you don't know, you don't know. Okay? So I read Defending Elysium by Brandon Sanderson. And I'll even tell you that this, in my color-coded system, was a yellow book, okay? Yellow is an alright book in my color-coded system for this month. And I think I actually might keep the same color-coded system throughout all the years. But this was a yellow book, okay? this month. And my only thoughts on it was really interesting world building, really interesting powers, but how does this fit into the overall picture of something? Which, if you know, you know. If not, I'm going to tell you. So Finding Elysium is a prequel to a very popular Brandon Sanderson series that I read the entirety of for a video, and that is Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. Skyward is a book series, and I read it over the course of this month. I gave Skyward, this is not a spoiler for that video, I gave it initially a 5-star. You'll find out if it is a 5-star. However, we'll quickly run through the other titles so you can know the reading order in case you want to read them, because a lot of people did not know that Skyward has novellas in them, and the novellas, I feel like, are super crucial and important. So I'm just going to run through the reading order for you in case you want to read this series, because it is Brandon Sanderson. He's a very popular author, even if I don't like the series. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. You'll find out. Maybe you want to know the reading order. You're going to first read Skyward, briefly, what the series is about. Alice Penn, she is a coward's daughter. Her dad ends up ejecting in the middle of a firefight in this battle. She is on a planet Tartarus, sorry, I cannot pronounce these words to save my life. And the sorority is attacking them daily. They have trapped them on this planet, the rest of humankind. And they have fire jets and stuff, and so she is training to go into space to defend this planet. And that is the point of this novel, is she wanting to become a space person, or a space spider. The next one that you will need to pick up is Starsight, which is the sequel. It will either have this cover or a similar cover to what Skyward looked like. There's different variations and stuff. Then you're going to read Sunreach next, after you finish Starsight. Then after Sunreach, you're going to read Redawn. These are both novellas, so novellas are just shorter, but I do think they're very crucial to the story. And controversially, okay, I would say it's a controversial opinion, because I went on Reddit threads trying to figure out where to read this stupid little fucker, and I personally feel like you should finish off the Skyward Flight Stories trilogy in one go. But I recommend Evershore next. I will mention Evershore does spoil the epilogue for Cytonic. I think that the through line through it all, and I don't think it's that big a reveal. I don't think it's necessary for you to push this whole book off. Like, as soon as you get to the epilogue for Cytonic, you have to read Evershore if you want to read them without this being spoiled, and I think this is worth not being spoiled. Then you're going to read Cytonic. Then you're going to pick up a little novella called Hyper Thieves right here. This is like 2 pages long. It's like super small, so it's not necessary. It's definitely the least necessary one out of the whole bunch, but for your completionist like me, you're going to read Hyper Thieves after that. Then finally, you're going to read The Defiant, being the final book in the Skyward series, as J.C. Packerson, who wrote the novellas with Brandon Sanderson, is supposed to be doing a Skyward Legacy series that was rumored to come out later on this year. I have no idea if that's still going to come out or not, but that is the order that you're going to be reading these books into for you to have the full reading experience. Once again, you will see mine with full spoilers and everything in case you want to know my opinions, my really far in-depth opinions. Those will all be coming out relatively soon in the coming weeks, as it's already done, it's already filmed, and I just have to edit it and get it up, which is a goal. Very fun. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump back into the reading order. We're just going to skip the places where Skyward would normally be, because I was reading them so quickly, and they're, and things. I want to be fake here, but I decided to pick up a few extra things in between before we finish the series, and I read quite a few things after we finished the series. Starting with The Abyss. The Abyss is volume 1. It's the Epitaph of Terror. I fucking hate this. I mean this with a very strong passion. I landed on a 2.75, and I think that's just, it's so not fair, because I think some things really worked in here for me, but it's very rare. There's 20 different little mini comics inside this one volume, and it's different authors. I guess it was something important like in the 80s, and they decided to try to bring it back, and I've read some of those, and those are not good. Don't bring them back, okay? Just try something else. I don't know. The cover for this is one of the worst things I've ever read in my life. No joke, I was appalled. It's like 4 pages long, and I just couldn't even fathom. I couldn't believe that someone signed off on it. I couldn't believe that it was accepted into this collection. I couldn't believe anything. Like, it's fucking shocking. If you want my full in-depth thoughts and opinions in this, like for each individual issue, like not why I gave it, but what I gave it, that's on my Goodreads, so in case you guys are curious. But yeah, it's random stories, in my opinion, and I'm going to use this word, once again, like we talked about, I do live in America. These are very conservative horror views. That's all I have to say, and it was atrocious. You can fight me on that. I'm sure you will. That's where I stand on the matter. Then I read Toxic Summer. This is a full-blown novella, volume. It's a full-blown story. The whole thing is completed. I think the issues are out. I think it's just the volume that's coming out relatively soon. Both these, by the way, oh my god, I didn't mention that. Both these were gladly sent to me by the publisher. Toxic Summer follows two boys. These two boys are best friends. They are gay. And they decide, one of the boys, I can't remember, I want to say this one. No, this one. Learn at the young age of 8 that if you go to Florida during the summer or spring break, you will see many hot men. So he decides, him and his best friend decide for their final year, their final summer before they go off to college, to go to the summer beach. Instead, the entire ocean is filled with nothing but toxic waste. So now they're trying to figure out why that is while also meeting cute boys. It's cute, it's fun, it does its exact job. I think it'll do its exact job when it comes out later on this year. I think it has like an April release date, which I think is fair. And I gave it a 3.5 and would recommend broadly. I think it aces all things and doesn't piss anybody off, so yeah, if you're interested, I would agree. The next thing we have to talk about is the Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation. Now, this might be a different cover than what you guys are used to, because I didn't know there's graphic novels. Did you know there's graphic novels? One of my good friends at work did not know. Mojing Tong Zhu is the writer here. They are a pretty famous, I want to say it's Chinese, novelist. They write gay fiction, and that's how I learned about this. And I've had a coworker, like I said, talk about them quite a bit. It's like one of her favorite series of all time. And I was like, fine, I'll read it. I'm interested. You caught my attention. I don't recommend this. This was bad. I don't think the book's bad. I just don't think it adapted well, at least in my opinion. It was super hard very hard to follow. It seems like these two people kill zombies together and fall in love. I'm not 100% sure. The artwork was gorgeous. So I landed on a 3.5. I think a 3 initial for the actual thing, then 0.5 for the very beautiful artwork. But it did feel very webtoonsy, so I put the book on hold and we'll hold off. And I'll let you know if the book is actually worth it or not. Then this is great, yes. Then I read the Blue Book of Nebo, which is this right here. The Blue Book of Nebo follows, this is also for a video, so I will not be revealing the rating. You'll understand why when the video comes out. This follows, I can't remember where they're at. They're in a different country, I'm pretty sure, and it follows a mother and a daughter. No, a mother and a son. That's what it is. You can get points of views from both. And I'd say it's like the biggest downfall, in my opinion, is that I don't think it's really clear between the two POVs. I mean, it is clear, but it's also not clear. It's a mixed bag, in my opinion. And it's set during an apocalypse, and we're dealing with family relations, and we're dealing with very, very tragic, very hard to read things. I highly recommend looking at trigger warnings if this is any of interest to you, from me or from other booktubers that could have read this. I was not prepared for the very, very upsetting material that is in the second half of this book. But I do think it's really well handled and really well done, and would broadly recommend. I don't know. I take that back. I would recommend if you like post-apocalyptic stuff. I think there's something here. It's novella, so it's short. It's not easy to read, but that's the Blue Book of Nebo. Alright, moving on. We have The Wild Robot Protects, the final book in the Wild Robot series by Peter Brown. This is by far the worst one, so there's that. I did end up reading this for a vlog that will be coming out relatively shortly. The Wild Robot Protects is an interesting read, just for the simple fact that, like, it's the end of Roz's story, hopefully. But it shared so many similarities with the second book that I just felt like it was a copy and paste type of story. But also, like, it took the elements of the second book I didn't like, elements of the first book I didn't like, and now we're here. So let me tell you about the first book. The first book is about Roz. She ends up dropping onto an island and having to live with the animals and understand the wildlife, and I think it's a beautiful, beautiful book, beautiful story, and it encompasses so many amazing things I think children should learn. So I would recommend this entire trilogy, and I feel like children won't really pick up on the things that annoyed me, so I think it's good the whole way through if we're talking for children. But for me and for you as an adult, this was a 3. Okay, just be prepared. Just be prepared. From what I understand, the first book is about finding a home, the second book is about returning to home, the third book is about protecting home. And I think it does work very well as a trilogy in that regard. I just wish that it was different. And then I finished my reread and worked through of my Little Sisters fantasy novel. Eventually I'll cover for you guys to show, because that book is never going to get published, so no worries there in that regard. But I don't have a cover, so I'm not going to hold anything up for you. I finished the second draft of that, so one step closer to getting that to her. That's book 18. Now, book 19, the final book I read, which I finished today, was Model Home by River Salzman. I've read one other book from them before, and that was The Deep, and I do plan on reading every single other thing this author has written, as this book broke me. It hurt me so deeply. I could not recommend. I mean, I have such a hard time recommending. I don't even know how to handle this. This is one of the hardest books I've read in a very long time. I gave it 5 stars. I would say if I was not in a stable relationship, if I was not in a happiest place of my life right now, if I didn't have everything I ever wanted in my life right now, if I truly just wasn't where I'm at, this book would have wrecked my fucking soul like A Little Life did. Fucking A Little Life. I don't talk about that book very often. It's all the way up there. It's pretty high up. You can't even see it on camera. I don't talk about her very often because she's a mean one. And also like the way the author handled some stuff, and I don't know. Certain things didn't rub me the right way when it comes to A Little Life. However, objectively, in my opinion, it is a 5 star, so I gave it a 5 star, and it is one of my favorite books of all time. This is also a 5 star read, and it objectively hurt me. However, I love the author. I think they're amazing, and I would highly recommend them. And there's no controversial aspects of there. However, this is extremely hard. It's very heavy. It's very, very, very heavy. I actually think it's a pretty good haunted house story. I'm not gonna lie. It was really intense. It was really, really intense. The characters are vivid. They're vicious to read from in like the most beautiful way possible. It also reminded me a lot of like when I like Karen Slaughter, like The Good Daughter type of situation, which I thought was, very hard to read, but very beautiful. This deals with some very, 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 oh my god, I cannot even explain to you, type of content, okay? It is so hard to read. I was sobbing at work. This is the second book to make me cry at this job, and I was just sobbing. I was so crying so much because it broke me. It hurt my soul so deeply. So let's talk a little bit. What is it about? You're like, okay, Jacob, I get it. It's painful, but why? Well, it's about this family of siblings. I'm going to use siblings in the context here as our main character. Ebery is gender fluid, so they use he, him, she, her pronouns. At certain points in the books, they also have used they, them pronouns. When talking about them, I might just use them pronouns. But it follows 3 siblings, them, and then their 2 older siblings as well, as we're following them as their parents move into this home, which you can kind of see on the hill. And then also when they're older, when we learn that their parents have died. We learn in a very shocking way, but it happens really early on in the book, so I don't count it as too much of a spoiler. Their parents die, and then they're also learning the secrets of their life after the parents die. So you're getting both sides of this. At the side of them growing up, oh my god, it was a lot. It's a fucking lot, okay? The pros here are gorgeous. I do not think this is going to work for a lot of people. I honestly was really shocked by the overall rating right now on Goodreads. I think more people, the more exposure this gets, the lower that's going to go. Because I think the run-of-the-mill, conscious, like, full-on train of thought thinking, I don't think it's going to work for a lot of people. There are segments, chapter 14 still haunts me to my bones for so many reasons. But the after effect of chapter 14, the part right after the sauce of it all, oh my, no, I don't think that's going to work for a lot of people. I don't. But it really worked for me. It worked for me quite a bit. It worked, yeah. I feel like the writing was some of the prettiest writing I've ever heard in my life. The conversation around queerness, the conversation around gender identity, gender, like, issues, and we're talking, like, they are a Black family and they're growing up in a very affluent white neighborhood, and the conflicts that revolves around and things as well. Just like one thing after another. It's just I think it hits the head. Is it a little aggressive in its like total come through? For sure. I will not disagree with you if you say that. I think it's really, really aggressive. I think the author really had something to say, and they said it proudly and loudly, which I think is also very beautiful for the story that it was trying to tell. It was a 5 star. I fucking adored this. It was beautiful. It's going to be in my mind for so many more months to come, and I'm so excited to eventually never read it again, because I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it. I also don't want to read it and then experience the things I was experiencing the first time around with the everything else. I don't know how to describe it. That's spoilers. Okay. That being said, those are the 19 books I read in the month of January. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know I sure did. Let me know what your favorite and least favorite book of the month was. I feel like in my brain it's Model Home, but it could be some other stuff that I can't tell you about. I don't know. My favorite is definitely the conservative horror trash that I read in the middle of this month because it was bad. But let's just say, everybody's gotta have bad luck in the air, you know what I mean?